What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. And here is an interview that Gary Gensler had. And I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And listen to the words he has to say because we're going to get into a topic where I think he did work for Goldman Sachs for a long time. And I think that maybe he's trying to usher in the new era where the banking system uses these digital assets. And I think this could have been the plan all along to usher in this new technology into the banking system, but there's going to be, forces at play that made it difficult. But eventually, it would happen. And so here is a little something of a clip from his interview.
Do you think you need additional congressional authorization to do what, in your judgment, is required to bring these instruments under better regulation, scrutiny, transparency, or do you have enough authority given the way the laws are currently written?
I think that we have robust authorities at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and we're going to use them and continue. I think it would be better if the platforms that are trading securities, the platforms that have lending products, who have what's called staking products, and I'm glad to describe that for your listeners, but where you actually put a coin at the platform and you earn a return, that they come in and we sort through, figure out how best to get them within the perimeter. We'll also be the cop on the beat and bringing those enforcement actions as well. Working with Congress would help because there's a lot of coordination by and amongst our financial regulators. I would let the banking regulators speak on their own, but we're working right now under the guidance of Secretary Yellen and working on a report around stable coins. And in the world of stable coins, I do think that there would be some help from Congress. I do think that we can work with Congress with regard to the coordination, again, commodities and securities. But in terms of the SEC, I do think that we have robust authorities, but there are gaps as I've identified them.
And so he's trying to tell these companies that if you're gonna have staking, have people earn interest on their coins, to come in, talk to them, and then we'll figure out a way to get them accommodated per se. But in reality, is he really trying
additional congressional authorization
to work with them, or is it just a means to see what they're doing? If it doesn't go with what the status quo is of these regulators or these banking institutions, then cut them off and sue them. Or there's a variety of possibilities. However, it makes me wonder because we see what's happening in this space and we see how it's affecting your investment personally. And here I talked about this, and this is Mark Moss. He had a great thread on this, and he has a video on it as well, so you can go ahead and watch that. Highly recommend it. But here, he's talking about how all these regulations and these little sneaky type of regulations are trying to sneak into the stimulus bill, and it basically turned banks into spying assets and weaponizing the IRS. And here he says, to pay for spending bill, they must try to find the money by tightening holes and increasing taxes. Ideas to monitor every single bank account with $600 or more and report every single transaction, including Venmo, PayPal, and crypto to the IRS for full ongoing audits. And here he says, there are numerous problems with this. And he says, let's look at three briefly. And he talks about the 1970 Banking Secrecy Act. And back then, they wanted to report keep records and report on cash transactions of $10,000 or more. But $10,000 in 1970 is equivalent to $69,000 today. So that limit should go up, not down. So here it's like they're trying to get ultimate control. Okay? And this would far exceed the control from what was instituted in the BSA Act of 1970. Okay? They want everything. They want everything possible to know about your life. And through your transactions, they can see a lot about what you do and what you buy. And second, he says, this violates many laws, including Right to Financial Privacy Act 1978, which limits the government's ability to access financial records, requiring government to deliver legal notice and to allow customer challenge before access, and only allows 6 reasons as shown below. Okay, the Right to Financial Privacy Act. But you see, all this is being thrown out the window. See, the government can access financial records through 6 exceptions: the grand jury subpoena, customer authorization giving consent, administrative summons, search warrant issued under the federal rules of criminal procedure, judicial subpoena, formal written request. Okay, but none of this matters. None of this matters because it's going to be snuck into the bill, especially, because people are going to be begging for another stimulus check. Well, if we're going to give you money, we're going to sneak in our things too. That's why I say there's no free lunch. Third, the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution reads, the right of the people to be secure in their persons against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. We are innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. And so, this, in a sense, after 9/11, when they instituted the Patriot Act, this was already, this was thrown out the door after that Patriot Act. Because now they can go and if they accuse you of some form of, or being a threat, they could get and go ahead and search through your stuff, through your records. And then the NSA had more power, and they got more involved. And now they can listen to everything through phones, your conversations, everything. And so, and George Gavin had an interview with Judge Napolino, I believe his name is. It's a great interview talking about this. I would highly recommend that as well. Now he says a more serious problem is the IRS has a history of weaponizing against specific groups who threaten, harass, and shut down. Under Obama, the IRS targeted Tea Party groups. But folks, more and more, you're starting to see this. And he goes on and says, this isn't partisan. Anyone with this power could use it against the opposition, which the Obama admin did. IRS Chief Lerner lied under oath, claimed the fifth, but information released showed the crime and the losses and claims were paid out for damages. Then he says, what most are missing is this is also an attack on the banks. Passing these types of surveillance requirements onto banks forces them to deliver data they are not able to collect, to spend huge sums of money to attempt to comply. Most won't be able to and will be in contempt. Okay? And then this is where CBDCs come in. You have central bank digital currencies that are now being promoted to give us more privacy and are being used as the old drop sell technique, as in hit you with something so hard, so service, so invasive that the lesser CBDC now seems like an easier and better option. Okay, and now this will allow the central banks to bypass these commercial banks, and they'll have direct access to the customer. The consumer can see all your transaction and have all your information, which now gives you no privacy. But they'll make it in such a way and that this seems like the viable option, the CBDC. That's why you got to wonder, with everything that's happening right now in the crypto space, is Gary Gensler acting in the best interest of these central banking institutions or these central banks and allowing them to pursue this? It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. And I got to tell you, more and more it's seeming like that's the way we're headed, because all these rights that you think you once had are thrown out the window. And now you're going to be left with the only option, and that option is one that they've been planning for all along. So I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know. My question for you is, do you think that this is a viable alternative in which your privacy will be taken care of when you have a direct account with the central banks? Let me know your thoughts. Comment below in the comment section. Let me know. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.